Okay, we are live. If anybody is watching, let me know. My mic is on because it was flashing and I don't think that's right. So hopefully, if my mic is on, comment in the chat right now. Muted. Consult with my people. I don't know what's happening. How about now? Can you hear my loud, obnoxious voice? Do I sound like Miley Cyrus? Can you hear me? There are two people on right now. Let me know. Okay, now it's on. Okay, perfect. Perfect. Okay. Technical difficulties, not shocked. I woke, today it's so funny because all of this kind of plays into what I'm going to talk about today. We'll wait a couple more minutes for more people to get on. But it's just so funny because I've been saying this. I wouldn't say it's a mantra, but I guess you could call it that. But I just keep telling myself good things are happening to me. Good things are happening to me. And it's funny because like this morning I woke up, hit snooze, but instead of hitting snooze, which I hardly ever do, I hit stop because that's what I'm used to doing. Then I got up a little later than I wanted to. And then that kind of led me, I was like, okay, I'm not going to spiral. I'm not going to get crazy. And then forgot my food. And then I was like, oh, well, let me do this and let me do this. And then you can't see it on my shirt, but I did my eyebrows. You can tell they look good. And I splattered the eyebrow pen on my, you can see right here, right here, splattered my eyebrow pen on me. And I was like, that's okay. That's okay. Good things keep happening to me. And as long as I try and focus still on the good things, they're going to continue happening to me. And I just had something great happen. So we're on the up and up, folks. We're on the up and up. It's Friday. It's not too terribly cold outside. I checked the weather. You guys, next week is going to be in the 60s and the high 60s, maybe hit a 70 on like 2 days next week. And I couldn't be more excited. Like I said, good things keep happening to me. But I want to know right now while I'm talking in this podcast so I can see it later on, what good things keep happening to you? What are you looking forward to this weekend? Give me some positivity because you know what? I'm not about that negativity at all. We're going to get into that today though. And let me know what you got going on. Are you going to enjoy something with your family? Are you going to eat something delicious? Are you going somewhere cool? I know one of my athletes is going to Vegas this weekend. Lauren's headed to Vegas. I think she's actually there right now. She's going to see the Backstreet Boys, hang out with her sister, have the best time. Lauren, if you're seeing this, like I said, if I don't get a video with you singing in the background, then it didn't really happen. So I'm just like, man, a little jealous, but holding the fort down over here, letting her live her childhood dream of the Backstreet Boys live. All right, let's get started. Let's go. Oh, what up, Aunt? I'm glad that you're here. Thanks for helping me out earlier with the mic situation because, me and technology, we're over here. We're not like this. We're getting close, though. We used to be over here. Now we're here. We'll be like this one day. So usually, we get on here during the week, especially me on Fridays, and you've got Savannah and Lauren, myself, and we're just dropping some knowledge on you, giving you tips, tricks, ways to help you through your fitness journey, nutrition, home life, kids, family. I mean, we're hitting every aspect of life, I feel like, every single day. I mean, shout out to us right now because we just did a whole month of going live every single weekday, Monday through Friday. I don't know any other gym that's doing that, but let me tell you, we are. And it just goes to show by the type of people that we have, the events that we do, the things that we have going on. And I just love that we get to spend each weekday with you at 10 a.m. here live, changing lives. And I love that. But what I want to talk to you about today is something that I think that resonates with everybody. And I think it's something that we don't talk about much on our podcast because we're always, looking to help, looking to fix, looking to encourage. And I'm here today to encourage you to kind of share my own story about, what happens next. Like when you get to that point where you're always on, you're working on yourself, your job, your health, your fitness, your family. You're trying to be 1% better every day so you can be 365% better by the end of the year. And it's just like sometimes, boom, you hit this wall. And it's not even like it's a huge wall. It's almost like it's this little gate, like a baby gate. I'm telling you, I can't open those things. And you're trying to open this baby gate and you can't step over the gate. So you're just trying to get through. And you're kind of like at this impasse. Like that's what I've been saying. It's like you're kind of like at this impasse where it's like, okay, I know what I need to do. I know what it takes. I know I've been doing everything up until now, but you just get in your head for a single moment. And I know I can't be alone. If you're right now, you're watching in the comments, I would love for you to, chit chat with each other and kind of talk about what is it at times that you know, are faced with something and you're just so in your head that you get stuck, right? You're just like, it's not being negative. You're not being sad. It's almost like this feeling of being overwhelmed, not only with the unknown, but the known. And I feel like that's just kind of like, Caitlin, what are you saying? But I'm being genuine when I say this. It's as someone who coaches other people. I'm here at the gym every day. I work out and train as an athlete. I'm with my team. I'm, doing admin, being a general manager, being an athletic director. And it's just all of these things that sometimes you get to that point where you're just like, dang, I don't know if I've got anything left to give, but that's the point. That's that part that you get to. And it's not that you don't have anything left to give. It's that you are standing in your own way. It's you. It's not anybody else. It's not your partner or your spouse. It's not your kids. It's not your friends or family. It's not anybody. It's you. And you're the one that's blocking your progress. And that's something that I've been struggling with. And I can be on here all day, be super hype, be super positive, give you all these tips, and I know all of these things. And then when it comes to using them for myself, man, I sabotage my own progress. I sabotage myself. I stress myself out. I annoy myself. Like if there's one thing I do best, it is annoy the crap out of myself. I really do. Because I'm like, Caitlin, why are you doing that? And it's just, I'm gonna pull this up, and I always like to have the comments more at the end, but really this summarizes what it is. Every time you decide to level up or make a change, fear wants to stop you because it's uncomfortable. 100%. The man knows what he's saying. He's a little guru. He can read your mind. He really does. He reads my mind all the time. But it's the fact that you are like, okay, I'm gonna explain what I'm facing right now, just so you know. I want people to understand, because people come into the gym and I'm always happy, excited, I'm pumped, because that's who I really am all the time. But I'm my harshest critic. I'm my toughest coach. I'm my biggest sabotage. I sabotage myself all the time. And that's what I'm facing right now. And what has brought me to this point is, as someone who is in the gym every single day, I'm training towards all of my goals. And it's not just fitness goals, it's also life goals. I want to be a great stepmother. I want to be a great wife. I want to be a great daughter. I want to be a great friend. I want to be a great leader. And so I'm trying every single day to push myself 1% better. But then I just get stuck. And what it is, and the biggest thing I'm facing right now is problems with my nutrition and my eating. It's not that I'm not showing up in all these other ways. Like, I was talking about this the other day, and it's like I'm crushing everything else in my life. And then I've got this one blockade. I've got this one fence that I just can't seem to get over. And you're like, and it makes you almost, in a sense, feel defeated. Because how is it that I can wake up early every day? I can train, I can coach, I can help my clients, I can do all of these things. And then when it comes to helping myself in this one area, and I have all these tips and these tricks and this knowledge, and I fall short every single time. But the thing is, it's not that I am falling short, it's that I keep stopping myself, because I get in my head. Because as someone who is always positive, always hype, always finding, the bright side of everything, it's just like, I know we all get tired. Okay, because if I was to stand here and be like, I'm just always on, that's a lie. Because this journey that we're on of being the healthiest, happiest, and strongest and harder to kill version of ourselves, it's not going to be on every single day. And that's something that I have to remind myself. I talked in like 2 podcasts ago. I talked about giving yourself grace and allowing yourself to rest. And it's also funny because I just watched a show over the weekend, Bridgerton, of course. And in one of the episodes, the maid becomes a guest. Now, if you're watching the show and you haven't watched it, this might be a spoiler, but that's okay. It's nothing too crazy. But the maid becomes the guest. The one who's used to cleaning up after everybody, cooking, washing, doing everything for everybody else, is now being treated like the person that she takes care of. And she can't do it. She can't actually relax. And there's a scene where she's in the kitchen and she's cleaning the dishes that she just used, and the maid of the house comes down and she's like, put it down. Put it down. And then the main character, he goes, do you not know how to leisure? And it's like, man, I can tell you all day that you need to rest and recovery, along with your training, your nutrition, your sleep, and everything. And I'm the last person to do it. And so it's not just in my fitness, in my nutrition, it's in my daily life. And for me to be like, to stand up here week after week and tell you that there aren't going to be moments where you don't feel motivated, or you are distracted, or you're feeling sad, or you're feeling overwhelmed, I mean, I would be lying. And that's something that I have a hard time accepting for myself, because I'm stuck on perfectionism. And that is my biggest nemesis. That is my biggest enemy. And I know right now, for those of you listening, perfection is your biggest enemy. Because what ends up happening is You want to be good at every single thing that you do. You want to either be the best, you want to master it, you just want to be great because you have this greatness inside you. And I get that. Trying to be the jack of all trades. But what you don't understand is that you don't have to be good at every single thing that you do. There's also being good enough. And what also happens is there are things that I'm like, I want to do this, or I want to achieve this goal, or I want to go here, go there, do this, do that. And I won't do it because unless I've perfected my technique or I've perfected the route in which I want to go, then I don't do it. And it actually stops me from achieving the things that I know I can do and that you know you can do. But when you try to think too much about it, or you're like, oh, I've got to go through all these steps, it's kind of like, it's the funny expression. It's like, and this is kind of rough, but I've heard it before, and it's you try to touch your elbow, but instead of touching your elbow, you go through your asshole to touch your elbow. So you're going all these different ways. So say you're here and you want to be here, and the work that it takes here is going to take a little longer and it might be a little harder. So what you end up doing is instead of taking the time to go here, you go all the way around to come down to try and touch the top. And that's the thing. It's like, I want it all. I do. And it's so funny. Aunt just said that. But I want it all right now. I really do. And I'm here to tell you that it is okay to fail. It is okay to be uncomfortable. It is okay to not know what the next step is going to be, but you keep pushing forward anyway. One of the biggest things I'm experiencing right now, specifically, to be specific, my biggest issue I'm having problems with is my nutrition. And eating isn't the issue. It's not the issue at all. What it is for me is that I'm experiencing what I have now deemed and catchphrase as serious mouth fatigue. I really have mouth fatigue. And it's not that I'm not talking or coaching. It's not that. It's that the goal that I have and what I'm trying to achieve of being absolutely jacked, but also being lean, trying to be fast. I'm eating my macros. I'm doing this. It's like, I just don't want to open my mouth to take another bite. As silly as that sounds. The thought of eating more and chewing, which I never thought would be an issue for me. The last thing I thought would be an issue for me is now my biggest blockade. And I know you've got to relate to that, because it's like, why is it that it tends to be the things that we know that we're the best at, which I'm the best at eating, is now my issue? And it's not that I can't eat. I love to eat. I really do. But what it is I've twisted it in my mind. I've changed it. I've given it this whole different perception of, instead of it being where I'm eating for my goals, I'm eating for fuel, I'm, just eating to perform my best. And instead I'm like, well, I don't want to eat that. I'm tired of eating that. I don't want to eat this much. I'm tired. I can't eat anymore. It's too late for me to eat before I go to bed. Oh, I woke up too late. I can't eat. Oh, I didn't have enough time. But what I've done is I've taken something that was once a priority to me, and it has lost its position on my priority list. And what I've done instead is I've taken other things that I'm doing and made them more of a priority, to now I'm trying to blame something else in my life for why I'm not able to eat when I need to, or eat however much I need to. And all I'm doing now is placing blame in places it doesn't need to be in. And then also, I'm somewhere wasting time that I'm usually not wasting, if that makes sense. So what it is I know Ant talked about on his podcast for Atomic Habits. And it's something that I'm like, dang, I need to do that. And of course, if I do that, I got to go get a new notebook and a new pen. And I love that, which is why I'm going to do it. Where it's each hour of the day, you make a list. You just write something very basic of what you're doing that hour. So for example, if I make my list for the day and I number it, 12 to 10 p.m. So 12 a.m. to 10 p.m. I would put 3 a.m., wake up, 4 a.m., eat breakfast, 5 a.m., coach, 6 a.m., coach, 7 a.m., coach. But the thing is, though, there's something in there that I've put in that I haven't realized that is wasting my time. And so then it's causing me to feel overwhelmed and feel defeated and put myself down and be my harshest critic. And it's making it harder now to achieve the things that I want to do. And we do that all the time. We're doing all these other things, and then we don't have the time for the things that we actually want to do and need to do. Like doom scrolling on TikTok, on Instagram, watching the news. And then we're depressed and we're sad and we're thinking about society and the government and just all these terrible things that are and we know are happening. And instead of me being like, well, I know that I need to eat at this time and that time and maybe have a snack and I need to meal prep, which I talked about 2 podcasts ago about meal prep hacks. And it's like, it's not that I don't know how to do all of these things. It's that I've lost my way. I've convinced myself otherwise. And I've just made myself feel absolutely terrible. which is so wild. But I know I'm not the only one because I hear people talking about it all the time. This is why I wanted to address it, especially after the last couple weeks. Well, really, I would say this year, because that sickness that was going around, everyone got sick. It wasn't the flu. It wasn't the made up thing, whatever it is, it was strep, just all this stuff. Everyone got sick. Everyone missed out on going to the gym. You were so sick you couldn't eat. You were sleeping all the time. You weren't drinking enough water. You were having to, take this medicine, and it just threw you off your routine. And then trying to catch back up is harder than it was to set yourself into that routine. So now it's like, where are your priorities? And it's kind of like, well, I don't know. I'm lost. And like I said, I know what I need to be doing, and I'm just not doing it. And to me, not showing up as the person that I know I am most days then puts me in this headspace where I'm being negative. And me being negative is probably the worst thing I could ever do for myself, but it happens to everybody. And so what we have to do and what you need to do is reframe the way that you think. Reframe your priorities. Fix your list. Fix your time. Because it's not easy. This isn't easy. Because if this was easy, everyone would be doing it. Think about it. If fitness and nutrition were easy, you wouldn't be part of the 1%, because that's what you are. If you are someone who works out 3 to 4 days a week, every week, and works on your nutrition, and you're part of the 1%, because not everyone can do it. It's not something that's meant to be easy, because things that are meant to be easy, it's just like, What is it worth? What is it worth to you? Because if something really does come easy to me, I'm like, whatever, on to the next. Think about it. But if I've worked so hard for something, the reward, I mean, it surpasses anything I've ever felt. And there's a video that if you go onto if you haven't yet subscribed to our YouTube, there's the Mayhem video from 2022. And in that video, I'm actually going to be posting part of that video next week. But in that video, we're being interviewed. And I talk about how this is the hardest thing that I've ever done, to go from being a bartender party girl to being a fitness and a coach. And the two are so completely different. And it didn't come with it didn't come without fear and tears and anger and emotions. And the only time I ever felt that way was when I was getting in my own way. So what type of person are you trying to show up as? You have to ask yourself that. What kind of person are you trying to be, not only for you, but for your spouse or your partner? What kind of person are you trying to show up and be for your kids? And it's not just in your personal life, it's also in your professional life. What type of boss are you trying to be? What type of leader are you trying to show up as? What type of coworker are you trying to show up as? And you really have to think about that, because when you end up standing in your own way, then everything changes. Because then you're not showing up as the person that you have been this whole time. And to me, that is something that actually makes me upset, and it makes me emotional, because I would never want to portray myself as somebody that I'm not. And not only that, I would never want to be the person that is telling other people, well, this is what I do. This is how I live. These are the tips. These are the tricks. And I'm not actually living by my own standards and expectations. Because think about it. I know you and we as the collective, we place so many standards and expectations on ourselves of how much money we want to make, how fit we want to be, what kind of husband we want, what kind of wife we want, what kind of car we want to drive. There are so many expectations and standards and morals and values that we're trying to uphold, and we're trying to be every single day, that the last thing that I would ever want to do is tell you and show you for, all this time that I'm this person, but then all of a sudden I'm showing up as this person over here. What is that? Why do we do that? Why do we sabotage ourselves so much? Because we get so uncomfortable or scared, or there's fear, or we get so overwhelmed that then we stop working towards being the person we actually want and know we can be. And it's so silly when I think about things like, oh, well, I have mouth fatigue and I'm tired of eating. It's like, dang, Caitlin, first world problems. But these are our first world problems. These are our problems for us. Yes, I understand. But you would be lying, and I would be lying, if I said that I'm able to give 100% every single day, because I'm not. And also, I've got someone in the comments right now, Jess, I see you, girl. What's up? I was having a really hard time on Monday. I was just not in Caitlin mode. I wasn't excited. I wasn't super hype. I was being the best that I could. And the thing is, though, is when you have those people who know you, who take the time to get to know you, or who are also that people that not only you hold accountable, now they're holding you accountable as well. And she texted me after class and she was like, "Hey, are you okay?" And that hit me so hard because the last thing I ever want to do is show up not myself. And man, I was having a day. And it can be just these little things, these super small things that just really just mess everything up. But what you don't do, and it's something that Aunt told me yesterday, and that's another reason why I'm talking about this today, because it really stuck with me. And he told me, he's like, make a done list. A done list, not a to-do list, a done list. Because what ends up happening is everything just keeps getting piled up to do, to do, to do. I have to do this. I have to do that. I've got to get this done. I've got to do this. And all that does is takes away from all of the things that you've done, from all of the ways that you've won. It takes away from all the ways that you've shown up for yourself, that you've shown up for other people, that you've accomplished, or things that you're like, well, I didn't get the big goal, but that's okay. You'll eventually get the big goal. But what about all the small goals that you met along the way, all the small wins that happened? And we get so caught up in just the big win that we want, that we forget that not only are we human, not only do we make mistakes, we are never going to be perfect. And we just put ourselves down for the things that we're not doing. And this happens, and this is going to happen. It's going to continue to happen, whether it's in your fitness journey, your nutrition journey, your journey to being an entrepreneur, you see a therapist, you want to be a better you. You have to remember that one hard thing or something that's making you uncomfortable not only isn't going to derail your progress, it's going to make you stronger. It's going to make you better, because how you handle things when you're uncomfortable and how you handle things when you're scared, it only makes you better. And one thing that I've been told by my coach, my mentor, Ann, we should fail. You should be okay to fail. You should be excited to fail, because all of the ways that you failed, say you failed 100 times, but you get back up and do it one more time. Well, guess what? All those 100 ways that didn't work, they're crossed off. Well, let's try another way that works. And maybe that's the time that it works, which is why you can't just give up and fold. And I really feel like recently I've been on that train to folding. And the last thing I would ever want to do is fold. And so I have to remember that although right now I'm not hitting my macros perfectly or hitting my nutrition the way I want to, that doesn't mean, like Aunt said, that I'm not crushing everything else that I'm doing. And so I want you to remember that in those times of being uncomfortable, in those times of fear, that just means that you're leveling up. That just means that you've come to a place that you're like, dang, this is really hard, or man, I'm really overwhelmed, or I'm exhausted. That's because you're about to break through that gate, break through the door, and you're about to level up and crush it. You're about to achieve that goal that you want. You're about to get that job that you want, make the money that you want. You're about to hit that PR. It's all about how you frame it and how you look at it. And don't let the negativity, and I've been feeling it recently, don't let that negativity change you and change who you are just because you feel like you're not doing the right thing or you're not able to show up how it is that you want to. Now, I know, like I said, I know we're typically on here giving you all of this advice and these tips, and you just have to know that even though I'm out here giving you all of this advice, I'm the worst person at taking my own advice. I'm human. I make mistakes all the time. But the one thing I have is bounce back. That's the one thing I have. And the other thing that I have, and this is really important, you guys, the one thing that I do have is my team. Anne, Lauren, Savannah, my close friends. They hold me accountable, but they also lift me up in the times where I just feel like I can't do it. And they also kick some sense into me, because when I'm like, I just can't, I'm just over here and I'm like, oh, I'm going to rip my hair out, I'm feeling crazy. It's important to have those people in your life to be like, Caitlin, what are you doing? You told me this was your goal. Why are you doing this? This doesn't serve you. And you have to remember, you're not in this alone. You're not in this alone. I've got my athletes. I've got my 6 a.m., my 7 a.m., my 5 a.m. small group. I mean, my mom's. I have those people in my life, because in those times that I'm not able to give and my cup is empty, I can't even give to myself, I have people behind me who are ready and willing to hold me accountable, to fill my cup, to push me, to make sense to me when I'm not making sense to myself. And I need everyone to know that you're not alone, because it does get frustrating. It does get overwhelming when you hit that plateau, when you're not seeing progress. It's hard. But what you don't want to do is convince yourself that you're either going to give up or stop, or that you have to try something new because that isn't working. No, you have to keep going. You have to keep pushing, and you have to keep telling yourself that even though you're scared and even though that you're uncomfortable, that you can do it. And even if you feel like you can't do it, you got someone in your corner who believes in you, and they're going to be there along the way with you so that you can do it as well. You guys, I love talking about this today. It has been just something that, like I said, not only that I've been experiencing for myself, that I've been hearing everybody talk about. And you have to know that in those moments of being unsure and being scared and being uncomfortable and being nervous and the unknown, that's it. You've reached it. You're there. Now, all you have to do is break through the gate. But it's going to take you not listening to that inner sabotage telling you that it's too much. You can't do it. But you can. And I know you can. And I'm so thankful for everybody who's always in my corner and helping uplift me in the times when I also need it the most. Thanks for tuning in, you guys. We're going to go to the comments really quick. First, let's start with this drama queen right here. Hey, Nick. I see you, boo. It's all right. I'll see you later. I'll see you later. I'll make you feel special later. And Jess, you're right. Jess, like I said, thank you for texting me. I love you. I appreciate you. Aunt, Savannah. And Aunt made a really good point earlier. I'm going to go back to it. He talked about how Whitney talked about taking the small wins, and he struggles with that. It's hard. It's really hard when you can't see any of those small wins and you're just focused on the big one. But remember, you can do it. You got people in your corner. Just don't forget how strong you are and how much you've been in the uncomfortable and in the unknown, and you've pushed past and you've succeeded. Have the best weekend. I'll see you next week.